Yeah. What is it that gives you motivation to work towards this when you're down about it? Maybe,
well, I'll be perfectly frank. Well, I don't really get down about it anymore, but when I do get frustrated and I find myself having to deal with a lot of noise, where there's, you know, just noise that you're unfortunately noise that grows large enough where you have to address it, you're forced to, I remind myself essentially of the paradigm that I live in, first of all. I acknowledge the reality. So when you are able to do that well enough, you don't really get frustrated anymore. One little trick that I recommend, it's an Eastern trick. If you can get good at it, which I've done pretty well with it, it can be very beneficial. There's nothing metaphysical about it. The human being has a way of reversing and looking at himself. We, unlike most animals, we have a sense of consciousness that recognizes ourselves. As far as we identify ourselves, we're a human being. Here's my brain. I can see myself. You know, we have something that most other organisms do not. And the beauty of that is that you can place yourself a little bit outside of yourself, if you think about it. In other words, you can recognize when you get angry. You can recognize when you get sad. You can recognize when you get upset. And if you can make that detachment, everything becomes an abstraction. Because emotions are these triggered chemical attributes that come from various places. They can create biological changes. They create many hormonal changes, and they're triggered obviously through environmental input. And all it is data basically that's running through your system. And it can make you feel very badly if you let it get into you and let it absorb into you and you just become it. But there's a way to not become it, and that's to step outside yourself and say, wow, I'm really pissed off right now, or I'm really upset right now. And if you can break that and do that, it's a great little mental exercise to practice and to keep yourself kind of in balance.
You know what they call, an old psychologist, Paul Brunton, wrote a book many years ago called In Quest of the Overself. It's a lousy book, but if you're interested in a different idea. He believes that outside of a human being, there's a way of projecting yourself out there and watching yourself. Because people get up and they say, I performed in a play, and I knew I was performing in a play. I was not just performing like an actor, but I can see myself from the audience point of view going through the lines, you know, and then you say something, the audience laughs. And you knew that just before you said it, that they might laugh. Or you've got something on your hands that it's difficult to deal with. Or they just tell him that his uncle was run over by a Mack truck and the audience takes out their handkerchiefs and weep. In other words, the actor, to a large extent, has 4 probes because he knows the story, and he knows human reaction. I'm talking about a writer in some instances, too. So when he writes, and humans react that way, he feels comfortable. When he writes and they don't react that way, then he feels insecure, or she feels insecure. Do you see that?